Part 77. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 771. For Wu Yu, every dead soul net now needs to be fought for. It is normal for demons to appear again in places that have been searched. After all, demons are also active everywhere. He drove the somersault cloud and went swiftly. In a blink of an eye, he arrived at the place where the clone was killed. After approaching, he saw a sea demon. This demon is very strange. First of all, it looks very gorgeous, like a big tree, but it is full of sharp tentacles. Wu Yu grew up on the East China Sea and naturally knew that it was coral. I didn't expect that coral could become a demon. The speed of this coral demon seems to be relatively slow. It takes a little time for Wu Yu to come over, but the other party did not escape at all and stayed in the same place. When he saw Wu Yu, although he couldn't see his face, Wu Yu still felt that this coral demon looked a little strange and unnatural. However, Wu Yu still saw the dead soul net wrapped around his body, which was enough for him. Wu Yu quickly took out the Shangling Dao weapon, stretched out his hand to hold the Wanlong stick, and without saying a word, he swung the stick and smashed it on the coral demon's head. The demon showed a very terrified look, and said in a sharp voice, "Don't kill me. Save me. I have completed the task, let me go." How strange this sentence was. After hearing it, Wu Yu stopped his movements instantly and stopped just above the coral demon's head. But it seemed a little late at this time. He immediately realized that this should be a trap. After all, he had long expected that the people of the Baiming clan would definitely find a way to target him when they saw that he was so high profile. Baiming soul locking and evil release formation. The 8 Ming Immortals are coming. This voice came from a distance like thunder in the plain. It came from all directions. It seemed that there were people shouting in 8 directions. Faintly, Wu Yu heard familiar voices, such as Prince Yuqian and Duan Yi. Imagine that they could only be so anxious to target him, especially Duan Yi. In fact, Wu Yu was full of confidence in himself, so even if he had the opportunity to escape instantly at this moment, he did not do so. However, the other party still used the magic circle to make Wu Yu realize their determination to deal with him. This is definitely a top-level magic circle. At this moment, 8 dark giants appeared in the 8 directions around Wu Yu, and the sea water rolled. Those giants were all wearing armor, very gorgeous, with cold air sweeping over their bodies, invincible divine power, with the posture of immortals, looking down on all living beings, just appeared. The 8 of them joined together to suppress Wu Yu. This is what they call the 8 Nether Immortals. These 8 Nether Immortals, each of them seems to have extinction magic. Each of them is not easy to mess with. They surrounded Wu Yu and sat in the magic circle. When they appeared, a dark purple array appeared in a huge area with Wu Yu as the center, spinning wildly and merging with the 8 Nether Immortals. At the moment of rotation, Wu Yu had already felt a terrifying pressure from all directions, as well as the most extreme coldness. This coldness froze not only the body, but also the soul, especially the soul part, which seemed to be completely blocked. This was indeed a terrible reaction. Wu Yu felt that its effect was to cut off the connection between the original body and the flesh, isolating the two. This level of array, let alone against Wu Yu, even against the strong men in the realm of asking questions, can lock him here and make him unable to move. Wu Yu is now under the suppression of the 8 Nether Immortals, and he can feel the terrifying power of this array most clearly. If it were an ordinary person, being suppressed here would definitely only wait for death. And they would not give themselves the opportunity to wait for death. When the soul and the body are cut off, it may be difficult to command the body to move, but Wu Yu has been prepared. Before he realized it was a trap, he used the somersault cloud and integrated it into his body. He was ready to jump out of here. Although this array can cut off most of Wu Yu's control ability, it cannot completely block Wu Yu's magical power. He is confident that he can escape from this array and leave here. That's enough. However, Wu Yu was really flattered that such a high-level array was used to deal with him. This kind of array, even with their level, it will take at least a few months to set it up. Could it be that they didn't kill demons in the past few months, just to create traps to catch me? This seems a bit incredible. Obviously impossible, so Wu Yu guessed that they must have used something else. When Wu Yu was successfully locked in the Beiming locking gate release evil formation, a person appeared on the head of each of the 8 nether immortals. They came out of the 8 nether immortals' bodies. Wu Yu was generally familiar with these 8 people and had seen them several times. The leader was of course, Prince Yuqian. In theory, this person was still his benefactor, but he was cruel to him and now set a trap to imprison him. Wu Yu had no gratitude for him at all. Seeing that the plan was successful, the 8 of them smiled. "You guys made such a big scene, are you here to welcome me to join your team?" Wu Yu was not surprised at all, and talked and laughed. He could still speak, that is, this formation did not have evidence of locking the soul, but his body could not move, not to mention performing more Taoist magic changes. Fortunately, the somersault cloud magic had already been performed for the most part. Wu Yu could only stay here now. He wanted to listen to what these people meant. "Don't be so harsh when you are about to die," Duanyi sneered first. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Death, it's impossible. There are more than 800,000 people outside watching the battle for supremacy in the North Ming dynasty. Can you still kill people openly? Wu Yu asked curiously. This is the Beiming Empire. Nothing is impossible to deal with you, Prince Yuqi said. Why? Shouldn't it be fair competition? Wu Yu said. Everyone laughed. The more dead soul yin nets you take, it will be a shame for us as a whole Beiming. If you enter the top 10, we will embarrass the entire Beiming. Do you think we can give them away? Are you going to return to the West? Whether you live or die now depends on whether you can control yourself and ignite the dark light talisman. If they clicked on the dark light breaking talisman, they might not have a chance to kill Wu Yu. So that's it to them. Wu Yu really felt like he was not afraid of death. They thought it was because he wouldn't shed tears without seeing the coffin. Duanyi, the chance to kill him will be given to you, Prince Yuqi said. Obviously he also gave Duanyi a chance. First of all, he knows that Duanyi is the person who wants to kill me, Wu Yu, the most. Second, Duanyi is a new member of his team. At this time, killing people to show loyalty is a very necessary process. Third, killing people here is always troublesome. Prince Yuqi wants to be among the top 10. If he is deprived of the opportunity to continue to participate in the war, it will be more than worth the loss. Duanyi obviously did not get the opportunity to be among the top 10. If someone really wants to quit, let Duanyi quit. If anything happens after he goes out, Prince Yuqi can still protect him. His father, the master of the palace, was so happy to be respected by Prince Yuqi. Thank you, Prince. Duanyi looked excited. After thanking Prince Yuqi, he quickly came to Wu Yu and appeared in front of Wu Yu's eyes. At this time, a black spear appeared in his hand. It's the spiritual Taoist tool he got. You and I both have the spiritual weapon. Today I will use the spiritual weapon to send you back to the West. It can be regarded as giving you a decent way to die. Princess Yuqing is mine. Taking it from me is the biggest mistake of your life. Take care. Enjoy the last few moments, Wu Yu, see you in the next life. This was a hard-won opportunity, and of course he wanted to make a quick decision. For him, any delay would be unforgivable. That disappoints you. Although this magic circle may be very precious, if you want to kill me, it's still far away. I'm sorry for wasting your treasure. After asking a few more questions, Wu Yu at least having determined their reasons and motives, I will definitely be more careful in the future. In order to deal with themselves, they can even bring out such a magic circle. It is obvious that their determination is very strong. At this time, Duanyi was having a long night and dreaming a lot. He held the black spear and pierced Wu Yu's eyebrows. This move was cruel and ruthless. But what he faced was Wu Yu's smile. When the time came, he used the final control of his soul to control his body. After saving for a while, he turned back. This made Prince Yuki and the others furious. Duanyi's spear stabbed in the blank place again. Wu Yu escaped again. As Wu Yu said, their beaming soul-locking and disaster-relieving formation was definitely wasted this time. For Prince Yuki, preparing to reveal the soul-locking and disaster-relieving talisman is equivalent to the life of a cultivator in the Taoist realm. It just went down the drain. The 8 people looked at each other. "Prince, please forgive me. It's my incompetence in doing things." Duanyi knelt down in fear, his face pale, and at the same time, his eyes were brewing with overwhelming anger. He was fooled by Wu Yu again. Of course Prince Yuki knew that this matter had nothing to do with Duanyi, but he still underestimated Wu Yu. "This time I am embarrassed." Prince Yuki looked at Wu Yu's original position with gloomy eyes, murderous intent surging again. What to do? Others are already quite depressed. Even after taking out such a precious magic circle, they still haven't been able to catch Wu Yu. There seems to be no other way. Duanyi thought for a while and said, "I'm afraid it's impossible to force him out of the beaming battle. His method of escaping is too cunning, but I have a way to make it difficult for him to continue to get high speed. The net of dead souls." "Say it. Didn't he use his clone to lure the monsters? Then, let's broadcast this incident and let all the monsters know that this is a trap. Then, no monsters will take the bait. In this place, if they speak loudly, they can still travel a long distance, so it is not difficult to spread the word." Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 772. Not even beaming soul-locking talisman could do anything to Wu Yu. The 800,000 people outside were deeply shocked by this ability to escape. This was not the first time. Even many powerful people who have reached the realm of questioning have nothing to say. They looked at each other solemnly, and now they finally understood why Wu Yu dared to be so high profile. It was obvious that he was quite confident in his escape method, and so far, he had never made any mistakes. Even beaming soul-locking talisman escaped like this. There really weren't many ways to deal with Wu Yu, unless those top experts lowered their face and attacked him. In that case, an honest reason may be needed, because Chuyin of the Flame Dragon Legion is still here. Nowadays, the people of the Yanhuang Ancient Kingdom are watching it with gusto. Although the beaming clan has lost face, the people of the Yanhuang Ancient Kingdom have gained a lot of face because of this and are smiling all over their faces. They have basically decided that after the beaming battle is over, they will try their best to bring Wu Yu back to the Yanhuang Ancient Kingdom. Even if they fail this time, they will report it to the Yanhuang royal family after they return. It is estimated that the people above will personally come forward to bring Wu Yu back to the Yanhuang Ancient Kingdom. Wu Yu was taken away from beaming. In fact, Chuyin had already reported Wu Yu's performance in the beaming battle to many senior officials of the Yanhuang Ancient Kingdom. After hearing the detailed description, those people should make a decision. As the number 1 force in the Yanhuang Ancient Territory, Chuyin is still very confident. At this time, he also passed back the matter of the beaming soul-locking talisman. "I believe that this matter will allow the real big shots to make decisions. After all, this is the genius of the Yanhuang Ancient Kingdom. If this continues, he will become a member of the beaming tribe. At least, that's what Yuzhang meant. The battle for beaming's hegemony is not over yet. Wu Yu is considered the biggest dark horse. Whether he can break into the top 10 and stabilize the top 10 is also a matter of great suspense. In the Hell Sea prison, Wu Yu also devoted himself to hunting monsters again, competing with others on how fast he could obtain the Death Soul Net. In the first few days, the speed was still very fast, but then something strange happened. Wu Yu released more and more clones, but the number of demons falling into the trap became less and less, which was strangely rare. Could it be that all the demons in the Hell Sea prison have been killed? It's impossible. At least there are enough demons for every battle in the North Ming dynasty. 10 years is enough to bring in many prisoners of war. This is unlikely. Wu Yu also asked Princess Yuqian. Princess Yuqian also said that such a situation has basically never happened. There are still many demons in the Hell Sea prison. They are hiding and waiting for rebirth. Opportunity, and the speed at which others kill monsters has not slowed down. I asked and found out the reason. Princess Yuqing found her within a day and came to Wu Yu's eyes. What's the reason? It's an imperial brother of mine, the one who ambushed you last time. He asked many people to spread your clone trap to the monsters. They said it everywhere, and the monsters can easily hear it. He probably avoided Wu Yu's clone when he said it, otherwise Wu Yu would have heard it long ago. I estimate that most of the monsters who are still in the Hell Sea prison know about it now. In this case, your clone trap method may not be effective anymore, because the monsters all know that your clone has not broken the underworld light talisman. Your body is very strong, and they will be frightened when they encounter you. Princess Yuqing was a little angry. These guys just love to play these conspiracies. In this case, Wu Yu does have a headache, and his biggest advantage may be gone. This time, you attracted too many people's attention and offended many people. Because you are not from the Baiming clan, everyone will target you. After the Baiming hegemony war is over, you will always be with me. Otherwise, I'm worried that someone will take action against you secretly. Her eyes were full of nervousness and care, and she didn't expect that she would become so gentle. Wu Yu shook his head and said, "My way is to move forward bravely. In this battle for hegemony in the North Ming dynasty, my goal now is to be number one, so I can't hide anymore, and there is no way to attract attention. After all, this is an adventure, go out. The next thing is secondary, the most important thing for me now is how to kill more monsters. If you can get first place, it will be completely different." Princess Yuqing should also understand. Yes, if you can get the first place and get the Northern Ming Emperor's palace, then your reputation will definitely spread throughout the entire Yanfu world, and everyone will know that the number one player in the Northern Ming Empire's Baiming battle is let a person from Dongsheng Shenzhou get it, and your reputation will be like thunder. After that, it will be difficult for the Baiming tribe, whether they are young people or elders, to take action against you. What are the advantages and disadvantages of you here? First of all, Yanhuang Ancient Kingdom must be sure. If you don't agree, secondly, people in the entire Yanfu world will also laugh at us Baiming. As long as you get first place, no matter how you perform, it will be the safest. When it is dazzling enough, it is indeed the case. Everyone who does something to themselves will worry about losing face after being exposed. Especially people from the Baiming tribe, who would be thought to be unable to steal Wu Yu's name openly, but secretly murder him. If you can't get first place, try to be in the top 10. The higher you are, the safer you are. He has no backer now. The only backer is Princess Yuqing. Sometimes he has to fight for things with others and cannot be a coward, so he must try his best to protect himself in this world of strong people. In fact, in terms of combat effectiveness alone, he is definitely a genius. The top geniuses in the entire Jamfu world are what every country that cultivates immortals wants to recruit. Wu Yu now just wants to make his reputation even greater. The greater his fame, in addition to those secret assassinations, at least in the open, everyone will be afraid of doing anything to him. After all, there will always be someone who recognizes your talent. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. So, I will still find a way to get first place. If there are any changes, please tell me again. Princess Yuqing couldn't help in this regard, so Wu Yu asked her to go about her own business. After all, she also wanted to improve herself. For at least the next 20 days, Wu Yu was caught in a conflict. He tried many methods, but the speed at which he obtained the dead soul yin net was still greatly reduced. In 1 month, he only obtained more than 30 a net of dead souls. When his speed slowed down, everyone actually maintained the original speed, and now his ranking should have dropped to outside the 50th place. There are only 2 months left. It seems that there is no hope for him to break into the top 10 again. And if this trend continues, by the time the Beiming contest is over, he will probably fall out of the top 100 or even out of the top 100. 200. At that time, I'm afraid he will be buried directly and no one will notice him at all. Everyone behind them is working hard to catch up, especially in the later stage. Now the demons are also fighting hard, and there are so many of them, all in order to get more might-breaking light talisman. Judging from Yuan Ying II, there are battles everywhere. Only Wu Yu's place seemed deserted. In terms of combat effectiveness alone, he doesn't have much of an advantage. There are many geniuses here who are at the 9th and 10th level of the soul realm, and their efficiency is much higher than him. The brilliance of the last month has now dimmed and gradually faded out of everyone's sight. This is quite dangerous for Wu Yu, because people already know that he has received a top-notch inheritance, but he has not gained fame. There are 2 months left. If you still can't find a way, you may encounter a lot of trouble after you go out. The happiest people at this time should be Prince Yuki and the others. Although they failed to kill Wu Yu, they were equivalent to inflicting heavy damage on him. Now among the 800,000 people, when talking about Wu Yu, their words are more ridiculed. Wu Yu's clone hunting method is indeed interesting, but the rules also allow others to leak his method. After all, this is competition. Now that the demons see Wu Yu's clone, they basically ignore its existence. After all, they all know that it is a trap. Although there was little hope, Wu Yu was still relatively calm. He and Ming Long worked together to find a solution. Even if they found the monster slowly, he did not give up. Are you afraid? My performance was too eye-catching at the beginning, that's why I ended up where I am now, Ming Long asked him. There is nothing to be afraid of. I think our Tao should be like this. Even if we die in the end, we will die with no regrets, rather than live in an ignoble existence. What we want is this majestic Tao. Maybe it was on the Teku Immortal Road. Wonderfully encountered the things left by the Monkey King, Wu Yu has now made great progress in his understanding of Tao. This is also the reason why he can maintain a stable mood under such adverse circumstances and never regrets his decision. There are still 2 months left, and it's too early to say it's over now. He had a hunch that this might not be the end. At this moment, Nanshan Wanjiao appeared in front of him, looking at him with a smile. He was handsome, but Wu Yu thought he looked vulgar. It seems that you have encountered a problem. It's quite unpleasant to see you like this. Are you being bullied by others? Do you need the boss to protect you? Don't come over and join in the fun, wasting my time. Oh, really? But, unfortunately, I actually have the ability to let you get first place. It's incredible. Nanshan Wanjiao looked at him with a smile and gently waved the folding fan full of beauties. Chapter 4, Updated. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 773. Wu Yu really had no doubt that Nanshan Wanjiao was a magical being. At least, he is the most talented demon Wu Yu has ever encountered. He is also a being similar to himself. If everything goes well, maybe many years later, he may become an immortal, and his inherited Tianpeng marshal may indeed be more powerful than the Monkey King. Since the other party said this and seemed to mean to help him, Wu Yu sincerely asked, what is the method that can help me get first place? Nanshan Wanjiao chuckled and said, this is one of my personal abilities. I have a method of hunting monsters. Within the entire scope of the Hell Sea prison, I know clearly where there are monsters, even the ones that are best concealed. Even the devil and his evil spirit cannot escape my nose. Indeed, the boar's snout is impressive. Wu Yu fully believed that he might have such an ability after receiving the inheritance from Marshal Tianpeng. He, to put it bluntly, I can take you and take away the dead soul nets from these idiots from the sea of the dead one after another. For Wu Yu, this is indeed a turning point in fate. After hearing this, his impression of Nanshan Wanjiao has improved a lot. At least now the other party is really likely to help him a lot. As for whether it is true or not, he will try it later. I know, if he really has the terrifying ability to find monsters, that speed might be faster than his own clone trap method. In exchange, what do you want? Wu Yu was very simple and straightforward in this regard. The other party must have a purpose for showing up at this time. Well, as I said last time, you can be my little brother and obey my orders from now on. Okay, Nanshan looked at the moon and said with a smile. This is non-negotiable. I can treat you as a friend, but you want me to be your little brother. Is this appropriate? In fact, Wu Yu could tell that he was probably joking when he said this. Indeed it is. Nanshan looked at the moon, his expression became serious, and said, forget it, I won't tease you, little guy. Now that we are not familiar with each other, let's get straight to the point. I need you to use your avatar to select suitable cultivators for me. I want to take them. The dark light breaking talisman is enough for 30, but now it's still a little short. This is considered helping each other. His purpose is to get out. In fact, there are very few ascetics, only a few thousand. They are distributed everywhere, so it is quite difficult to encounter them. Moreover, demons cannot get close to each other. Once they get close, the dead soul yin net will break out. If Wu Yu's clone helps him search, his speed will be much faster. Of course, based on Nanshan's ability to watch the moon, Wu Yu estimates that he will be over 30 in 2 months, and his own problem will not be too big. He could agree to this request, but he felt that Nanshan Wanjiao might have other requests. Sure enough, the other party said, this is the first one, it is very easy for you, and there is a second one. Say the other party has done him a great favor. What Wu Yu wants now is an equal deal, and he doesn't want to take advantage of the other party. If it is to help each other and the difficulty is about the same, it is indeed possible. Nanshan Wanjiao said, I also know that you want to win first place. The prize is part of it. You want to use your huge fame to protect yourself, but it is also another part. I got the same thing as you, so I know what you are worried about. If I help you get the first place and achieve your goal, when the time comes, I will also be able to leave this Hell Sea prison, but I am not a demon in the Sea of Death. If I go to the Sea of Death, it will be even more dangerous, so I must stay Biming, and if I am in Biming, I need an upright identity, at least to be able to appear upright, so I hope that after I go out, I can follow you, and you will protect me, and have a demon friend here in the Yanhuang ancient territory. It's actually a very normal thing. After all, I'm not a sea monster, and I don't have any grievances with Beiming. This passage sounds much more normal. In fact, he didn't need to say much. Wu Yu also understood very well, because they both encountered the same problem. Wu Yu needed Princess Yukin to protect him and have an upright identity, while he was a demon, and his status was lower inside. He also needs someone to give himself an upright identity. At least when he walks on the street, people will know him and know that he is Wu Yu's friend or slave, and they will not be frightened or attack him. After all, Wu Yu is very famous. If he follows Wu Yu, at least in an upright manner, if someone wants to attack him, Wu Yu will have to be considered. His situation is completely similar to Wu Yu. In this way, Wu Yu understood him very well. Although he is also extremely talented, he is a demon. It will be more difficult for him in the Biming Empire. He also wants to be free. He does not want to hide in such a dark place all the time and live a life of fear. He also wants to have an identity. It sounded like they were brothers in need. In Wu Yu's eyes, the other party was undoubtedly much more sincere at this time. As far as these two requests are concerned, you can declare yourself a friend or a slave to the outside world. It doesn't matter. Of course you can't order me. If you agree, we will help each other. If you don't agree, then there is nothing I can do. At least I feel that we are all in the same boat, but I am a little worse off than you are. I almost grew up in this ghost sea prison. The other party mentioned so many opportunities for Wu Yu to consider. Wu Yu quickly thought about it. He was very direct and said immediately, "No problem, deal. It's really nice. You're really concise and to the point. I guess I've only had a boring old guy to talk to for a long time, and I've been sick from holding it in. I finally met someone who can talk, so I made a little noise, but I'm so handsome, it doesn't matter if I talk a little more." Nanshan looked at the moon, and the folding fan in his hand suddenly changed and turned into a mirror. He looked in the mirror and fiddled with his hair. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. Handsome, he sighed with emotion and came to the conclusion. By the way, is there a Tibetan in your Ruyi golden cudgel? Did he have a previous owner? Nanshan Wanjiao suddenly thought about it. Yes, Wu Yu nodded. He's also a bad old man. He stinks to death? He talks nonsense all day long? He's like a stupid pig, Nanshan Wanjiao asked curiously. No, she's a very beautiful little girl. Wu Yu said this under Minglong's force. In fact, he thought Minglong was an old witch. Holy crap! It turned out to be my best one. God, it's really unfair. I'm so handsome, and you paired me with a bad old man. He's so ugly, and he paired me with a little girl. It's really unreasonable. No, I want to marry you. Exchange. Looking at the moon from Nanshan, I was so angry that I almost shed tears. Stop talking nonsense. Since we have already made an agreement, don't waste time. Let me see your ability to find monsters. I hope you are not bragging. There has been no verification yet, so everything is not certain yet, and neither does he know how capable the other party is. It seems that you still don't believe in my ability, so just wait and see. But in order to prevent people outside from noticing, I will come back to you in 3 days. I may hide myself by then and give you directions. Next I won't appear in front of you like this. After all, people outside can still see when they are talking. Wu Yu is at a low point now. If he suddenly rises after this meeting, then others may know that the two of them will cooperate, as a monk and a demon. At least in the Battle of Biming, it has never happened before. In 3 days, Wu Yu was not in a hurry. As for hanging out with Wu Yu, that will only happen after he leaves. Now the two people have similar goals, one is to go out, the other is to get first place. Wu Yu continued to search for the demon, and 3 days later, Nanshan Wanjiao indeed appeared. Of course, he still hid himself and just talked to Wu Yu in secret, asking him to go in a certain direction. Next, I was shocked. It turns out that Pig's nose is really quite smart. Maybe this has something to do with the inheritance of Marshal Tianpeng. I don't know how many miles away, Nanshan Wanjiao was able to lock onto a demon, smell its demonic aura, and basically determine its strength. Anyone above the 9th level of the Yuan Shen realm was ignored and directly took Wu Yu to find the Yuan. Those below the 8th level of the divine realm, those who are hidden the deepest, no matter how deeply they are hidden, cannot stop Nanshan Wanjiao's search. Soon, Wu Yu found the first demon under his guidance. The total time from when he started guiding to when he found the demon was no more than half an hour. Moreover, it was a demon from chapter 6 of the Soul Realm. Wu Yu easily dealt with it and obtained the dead soul net. Let's go next. This time it took more than half an hour, but he finally found the monster he smelled the evil spirit from. With his help, the second dead soul yin net was obtained. At this speed, Wu Yu found that he would have no problem taking the first place, even if he was too far behind last month. Watching the moon at Nanshan is truly magical. You don't have to worship me. I've been so awesome since I was a child. I'm used to the admiration in other people's eyes, and I won't feel arrogant anymore. Nanshan looked at the moon and laughed proudly. On this day, Wu Yu was quite restrained, but he also got 10 dead soul yin nets. If he continues at this rate, he can get 300 in 1 month, 600 in 2 months, and his previous one was close to 300. There are more than 800 tickets, and it is estimated that the first place at that time will only be about 600 tickets. After 1 day passed, Wu Yu knew that if there were no accidents along the way, he would have secured the first place in the competition for hegemony in Biming. He should really be grateful to Nanshan Wanjiao. Everyone takes what he needs, and everyone takes what he needs. To me, this is a trivial matter. You don't have to commit yourself to it at this time. Nanshan Wanjiao felt particularly proud. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 774. It can be said that in the Hell Sea prison, no demon can escape Nanshan Wanjiao's nose. It was Wu Yu's luck to meet him here. With his help, when Wu Yu went to look for demons, he also helped him locate some suitable cultivators. The speed of the two of them increased at the same time. Wu Yu, in particular, was making rapid progress. In 1 day, he would harvest at least 10 dead soul nets. At most, there were even more than 20. This was the number in a month when he was at his lowest. In fact, the remaining participants in the Hell Sea prison were unaware of this earth-shaking change. Because this method is not high profile at all. So after a month of work, for the time being, not many people seemed to know about it. But Wu Yu's sudden outburst was clearly visible to the 800,000 people outside. He is in battle with demons almost all the time. Now Wu Yu has rapidly improved for a month with the help of Nanshan Wanjiao. And people outside were almost astonished for a month. Their mood was, of course, extremely shocking. Up to this moment, what was unbearable for them was that after their calculations, Wu Yu had obtained the number of dead soul nets, which had already reached 3rd place. And there is only a small distance between them and the two in front. With his speed, there are still a few months left, and winning 1st place seems to be just around the corner. At this time, many people could not sit still. But the strange thing is that just because Chuyin is here and the battle for Biming's hegemony is supposed to be absolutely fair, they can't interfere at all. So even if they can't sit still, they have no choice for the time being. Now everyone's discussion is basically focused on Wu Yu. Wu Yu himself could guess how excited the outside world would be at this moment because of his performance. Everyone's face was flushed with anger, and their blood was boiling. All the Biming people were very irritable and restless. Everyone felt that their faces seemed to be burning and painful, as if they had been slapped. The question now is, why did he break out in the remaining 2 months? From the sluggishness in the 3rd to last month to the breakout in the 2nd to last month, what exactly did he go through in the middle? Could it be said that he discovered something else? Give yourself some terrifying magical abilities. Maybe that's not the case. He might have been able to quickly find demons, so he worked so hard to participate in the Battle of Biming. But he was very smart, so he used other methods in the front. Until the end, he start using this power. These are all speculations. Who can know the truth? The problem is that if after the end, he really gets the 1st place, it would be funny. It would be a big joke and a shame to our entire Biming Empire. You're right. From now on, we, the young people of the Biming Empire, will be the most embarrassed. The Biming battle is the grandest, but a foreigner takes the first place, and it's still in full view of everyone. Then what else can we do? The rule of the Biming war is that as soon as it starts, no one else can interfere. Even the Biming royal family has not intervened, so it is not our turn to worry about it. No one can stop Wu Yu now, except for the participants inside. I estimate that by this time, they will find a way to let those participants know that by this time Wu Yu has almost surpassed them and won the first place. That's all we can do. I hope the princes and princesses can fight for our Biming empire. Have you seen the arrogant expressions of those Yanhuang tribe? In fact, Wu Yu is not from their Yanhuang tribe. When they saw Wu Yu's performance, they treated him as one of their own and put gold in their faces. Yes, it's very magical. It seems that Wu Yu is so strong and has something to do with their Yanhuang ancient kingdom. Nowadays, the smiles on the faces of those people in Yanhuang ancient kingdom also make people very dissatisfied. If it weren't for the Yanhuang tribe being the most difficult to deal with, they would probably have driven them away. In addition to the Yanhuang tribe, the Battle of Biming invited almost all the powerful monks from all the major forces in the Yanhuang ancient territory to come and watch the battle. Therefore, outsiders had no way of controlling Wu Yu and could only let things continue to develop. Even if Wu Yu takes first place, there is actually nothing they can do. If all the Biming people were present, maybe they themselves would find a way to get Wu Yu out. After all, for the Biming Empire to give the title of number one in the Biming battle to a foreigner has never happened before in history. Now even Yu Shang himself has a headache, because he never thought that Wu Yu could reach this level. The most depressing thing for him now is what happened to Wu Yu after he entered the 4th month. It was as if nothing had happened. One day he suddenly had such an ability that many demons could not escape his eyes. The only possible explanation is that he may have learned something else, a powerful Taoist technique or magical power. The uproar caused by Wu Yu here is far from over. Every time he kills a demon and obtains a net of dead souls, everyone will be on tenterhooks. Their moods will fluctuate, their faces will be pale, their whole bodies will be trembling, and they will be so angry that they want to leave their seats. This restless mood pervades everyone's heart. Wu Yu could guess some changes outside, but this could not stop him. Princess Yuxi now roughly knows how many dead soul yin nets those geniuses in the top 10 have. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading. He estimated that he had entered the top 5, or even the top 3, and he was sure that he would reach the first place in 10 days. Then he would use another 20 days to consolidate his first place. After all, everyone would start to sprint in the end. And those demons would also rush out like crazy, and then there would definitely be a big melee. Wu Yu had to get enough dead soul yin nets before that, far ahead of others, otherwise there would be a risk of being surpassed, because there might be many demons appearing at that time. A few days ago, he met several participants in the 10th level of the Yuanshen realm, and they basically ignored Wu Yu. Wu Yu knew that they still didn't know how many dead soul yin nets he had, and didn't know how much he had improved in the past few days. This is a good thing. If he can hold on for a while longer, it would be even better. For example, if a few princes and princesses knew that they had rushed to the top 3, they would probably go crazy. This is the Biming clan's place after all. I estimate that in a few days, they will all know that you have caught up. At that time, those princes and princesses will still cause you some trouble, Nanshan Wanjiao said. Wu Yu also knew it in his heart. After all, this cannot be stopped, so he has to be more careful next time. The Biming soul locking and evil release talisman last time left a deep impression on him. If there are still restrictions on his attacks now, they will definitely be stronger than last time. And there will definitely be more people who are afraid of him now. Anyone from the Biming clan should know that if Wu Yu gets first place, it will be a disaster for their face. Wu Yu's guess was right. In fact, after another 5 days, the number of his dead soul nets has exceeded 700. At this time, he estimated that he has already ranked first. I guess the outside world is boiling at this time. He felt that he should be more careful. After all, the atmosphere seemed a little wrong these days. Everyone looked at him strangely. He estimated that the news that he had quickly obtained a terrifying number of dead soul nets recently had spread. The rest of the participants should know it. Some who were not sure of dealing with Wu Yu did not make a move, and some who were not confident of capturing Wu Yu did not make a move for the time being. The remaining ones might be the strongest group of participants in this battle. Wu Yu guessed correctly. In fact, in a corner of the Sea of Ghosts, more than 20 people had gathered together, and more than 20 people were lined up, all of whom were in the 10th level of the Yuanshen realm. What they got was the number of dead soul nets, which basically occupied the top 30. It can be said that they were the strongest group of people under the age of 100 in the entire Biming Empire. Everyone was very close to the final 3 disasters and asking for the way. The 3 disasters and asking for the way is the most critical stage of becoming an immortal. Many people have fallen one after another. Although many people died in this realm, the dream of becoming an immortal still inspires generations of cultivators. They are the top forces in the Biming Empire 100 years later. They are outstanding young men and women, gathered in a circle, and everyone is very solemn. There is no doubt that their target is Wu Yu. From the iron-green faces of most of them, it can be seen that the current situation makes them very dissatisfied. Prince Yuqian was also among them. His face was the gloomiest, because he had hit Wu Yu hard in the middle stage of the battle for dominance in the North Sea, but he himself didn't understand how Wu Yu rose later. He also suddenly received the news in the past few days. He was stunned at the time. More than a month had passed, and he had actually forgotten about Wu Yu again. Now the facts were in front of him, and he felt as if he had been slapped hard. Now standing in front of everyone, he felt ashamed. As for Duan Yi, he is not qualified to stand in this group now. There are 3 princes and 2 princesses leading here, and only Princess Yuqian is not here. In addition to them, there are several other top talents besides them. Their realm strength is actually similar to that of the princes and princesses, but their status is slightly worse. The 3 princes are Prince Yu Yang, Prince Yuqian, and Prince Yu Ying. The 2 princesses are Princess Yu Yu and Princess Yuqian. They are all Princess Yu Yang's brothers and sisters. The youngest one is more than 20 years older than Princess Yu Yang, and they all have Taoist partners. Among them, Prince Yu Yang is the oldest. No matter in any aspect, Prince Yu Yang is the one who has the most say in this group. 6 chapters updated. A new beginning. Heaven swallowing record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 775. Prince Yu Yang is now standing at the center of the crowd. After everyone knew the news, their faces were not very good, including Prince Yu Yang. This Prince Yu Yang has a well-proportioned figure, not as strong as Prince Yuqian, but looks more like an emperor. Every move, every look, and every expression are domineering and restrained. It seems that even if he is in a bad mood, his face is still gentler than others, and he does not lose his sense of proportion. Often such people have deeper mansions. Next to him is Prince Yu Ying. This prince is thinner, like a teenager, but his eyes are very cold. Every move is very swift, like a natural killer, and he speaks very little. As for Princess Yu Yu and Princess Yu Yin, they are both Princess Yuqian's sisters. Now they are married women. They look similar to Princess Yuqian, but they look more charming and mature. Every frown and smile show their charm. One of them is cold and the other is hot, and their temperaments are different. I don't think anyone would have thought that Wu Yu would have changed so much in just a few months. Now, the number of dead soul nets he has obtained may have reached the first place. The elders also said that only we can stop him now. Our task is to send Wu Yu out of the Ghost Sea prison within this last period of time without seriously violating the rules of the North Ming battle, Prince Yu Yang said. He said not to seriously violate the rules, not just ordinary violations of the rules. If Wu Yu gets the first place after the end, what will happen? Everyone knows that our thousands of people will not be able to mix after they go out. Now the entire North Ming Empire is anxious. I think even if we seriously violate the rules, it is better than letting Wu Yu get the first place openly, Prince Yuqian said in a deep voice. The key is that you have used the North Ming soul locking and dispelling evil array, but there is still no way. Although we have many people now, everyone has witnessed Wu Yu's ability to escape, so it's no problem to drive him away or kill him, but the key is how to do it, Princess Yu Yu said with disgust, folding her arms. At this point, everyone was silent. Prince Yu Yang said, "Everyone, please speak up if you have any ideas. If there are any big problems in the end, we will bear them together. As a member of the North Ming clan, we must complete the task at the moment. It has come to the point that no matter how seriously your methods violate the rules, you can bring them out and discuss whether you can try them." His meaning basically represents the meaning of the 800,000 people outside. In this way, everyone can think of more ways. However, there may be many ways, and there are many things that can be used, such as the North Ming soul locking and dispelling evil talisman, but Prince Yuqian has confirmed that this is ineffective against Wu Yu. Think about it. Everyone began to talk about their own methods in a few words. After listening to several of them, Prince Yu Yang shook his head and said, "He can even escape from the North Sea soul locking and evil release formation. These methods you mentioned are useless. Only methods that can restrict his escape are useful." The reason why he asked was because he didn't have any good methods. Now everyone is having a headache. Prince Yuqian said, "Don't think about these useless things. This is useless. It's useless even if you stack them several times. If these methods can deal with him, I would have dealt with him long ago. He has no hope. Everyone knows that he is not someone who will give up easily, so this is even more of a headache. I don't believe it. Even if we get together, we can't deal with him. This is a barbarian from Dongsheng Shenzhou." The person who spoke at this time was named Gu Hokan. This is a handsome and elegant young man with eyes like stardust. He is very shining and is no worse than the princes and princesses present. Gu Hokan is the son of the only prince of a different surname in the Baiming Empire, Prince Gudi. Prince Gudi is also a legendary figure in the Baiming Empire. He is unparalleled in strength and is much more powerful than Yu's Hangyushi. He is one of the most important confidants of Emperor Minghai. It is said that he grew up with Emperor Minghai and is like a brother to Emperor Minghai. Therefore, Gu Hokan's status is not much different from that of the princes. In terms of strength, he has the personal guidance of Prince Gudi, and there is almost no gap between him and the princes. On weekdays, Gu Hokan also participates in activities with the princes and princesses. He has another identity, that is, the son-in-law of the Baiming Empire, and Princess Yu Yu is his Taoist partner. Their union is the common hope of Prince Gudi and Emperor Minghai, and it is a marriage that Emperor Minghai is quite satisfied with. After the two became Taoist partners, they helped each other and progressed very quickly. They are one of the most famous immortal couples in the Baiming Empire. In addition to Gu Hokan, there are two others who can also speak at this time. Both of them are women, and both of them are of noble status. One of them is the Taoist companion of Prince Yu Yang, and the other is the Taoist companion of Prince Yuqian. The Taoist companion of Prince Yu Yang was named Yuan Qingshan. Yuan Qingshan had already become famous all over the world before she formed a Taoist couple with Prince Yu Yang. That was because her master, Yuan Bingshan, is the strongest person outside the entire Baiming Empire system. In the entire Baiming Empire, as long as they are strong, they basically hold positions in the empire, but there are also some people who are not interested in these positions at all and yearn for freedom. are not restrained and do not participate in any management of the Biming Empire. They can only take action when the Biming Empire is in danger. There are many such people in the entire Yanhuang ancient territory. They are generally called outsiders. There are not many outsider monks in the Biming Empire. Yuan Bingji is a legendary woman. She ranks first among the outsider monks in the Biming Empire. She is also a figure who is close to becoming an immortal. She is the same as the ancient emperor and prince. Almost. It is said that the Biming royal family made many attempts to give Yuan Bingzi some authority, but the other party refused. However, she still gave face to the royal family by marrying her only disciple, Yuan Qingshan, to Prince Yu Yang. Yuan Qingshan is gentle and beautiful, with a delicate body and a heroic spirit in her gentleness. She is one of the great assets of Prince Yu Yang. There is another one named Zhang Shangyu, who is different from Yuan Qingshan's gentle and charming character. Zhang Shangyu is heroic and heroic. She is wearing a black armor, with sharp eyes and a cold and arrogant face. Although she is a woman, she looks battle-hardened, full of murderous intent, and is a very difficult woman to deal with. In fact, she comes from the Netherworld Marine Corps, and is also the most famous Netherworld general of the Netherworld Marine Corps. Naturally, she is much more famous than Duan Yi. And her background is not low either. Zhang Shangyu is the Taoist companion of Prince Yuki. Like Yuan Qingshan, she is basically one of the most outstanding women under the age of 100 in the Biming Empire. Apart from the princesses of the Biming Empire, she is the best among them. Zhang Shangyu was born in the north of Biming, and Yuan Qingshan was born in the south of Biming. Therefore, one of them is called the most beautiful woman in the north, and the other is called the most beautiful woman in the south. Of course, such a name cannot be mentioned in front of the princesses. These two people can attract the attention of the princes. They do have their own merits. Even compared with the princes, they are considered to be a good match. Because of this, Princess Yuking will also feel a certain amount of pressure in finding her Taoist companion, because her brothers and sisters all have very good Taoist companions. But at this time, they were all caught up in a heated argument, their faces turned red, and each of them denied the other's proposal. This is absolutely not possible. It can't trap Wu Yu at all. Do you think this thing is more powerful than my Biming soul locking relief formation? Prince Yuki laughed at the other person's suggestion. Maybe you were too nervous and didn't handle it well. The other party was very courageous and dared to ask Prince Yuji like this. Your shit. To be honest, they are not worried that some methods will seriously break the rules. They all want to have methods that seriously break the rules, but the problem is that there is no such method at all, because the biggest problem before them is how to make it difficult. Live in Wu Yu. It's really ridiculous. When we are having a boring discussion here, he is probably collecting the dead soul yin net quickly. At this time, he may really be the number one. People outside can see it clearly. Maybe they are in the eyes, we are just fools now. Zhang Shangyu was very dissatisfied. With so many people gathered together, they couldn't even deal with a barbarian from the demon sealing state. Finally everyone fell silent. The princes and princesses now looked at each other with sad faces. Wu Yu, if you want to blame this guy, blame Yu Qi. If she hadn't brought this guy to our Biming Empire and protected him, we wouldn't have encountered such a big problem now. Your sister has always been disobedient. It was a big mistake this time, Zhang Shangyu said in disgust. Hearing this, Yuan Qingshan's face changed slightly, and she said softly, so, according to the rumors, Princess Yukang cares so much about Wu Yu, so Wu Yu must also care about Princess Yukang very much, right? Maybe there is a relationship between the two of them. There will be some entanglements. After all, they are both young men and women, full of blood and fire, and they are on the Taku Immortal Road and have a common journey. Hearing this, Prince Yu Yang looked a little unhappy. He stared at his Taoist companion and said, Do you mean to use my sister to subdue Wu Yu? People outside can see clearly. My sister is also a member of the royal family, can she be sacrificed? Prince Yu Yang was indeed a little dissatisfied. Yuan Qingshan was not angry, and said with a faint smile, I'm just raising a possibility. If you don't want to, forget it. In fact, you are thinking too much. You are just using a way to attract Wu Yu so that he has to stay. This is not about sacrificing her. Having said this, Prince Yuki clapped his hands and said, don't tell me, this may be the only breakthrough point, it is our sister, she is the only one in the entire Yinhuan Sea prison who can make Wu Yu subdue us obediently. And we have a way to deceive Wu Yu without actually sacrificing my sister. Otherwise, the elders of the royal family will not forgive us. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 776. Having said this, Prince Yu Yang also wanted to understand. The most important thing was not to sacrifice their sister, but to trap Wu Yu. Of course, if it weren't for the anger of his elders and the public opinion of the entire Biming Empire, he probably wouldn't be so sensitive. The question now is, how? Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Gu Hokan first said, first of all, I guess these two people should love each other. This is actually obvious. There is no such pure friendship in the world. However, everyone knows that it is impossible for the princess of our Biming Empire to marry. No one from the other tribes will allow this. This is the premise. In this case, we can also think of a way to break them up and solve the problems between them. If we control Princess Yuki and Wu Yu is anxious, this actually means that people like Princess Yuki. At this time, we still have reason to expel Wu Yu in an honest manner. It seems that this is really the case. In that case, I know what Wu Yu is anxious about. If Princess Yuki is with another person, he will definitely not run away. Having said this, Prince Yuki smiled and said, what's the matter? We still need to find someone to cook with my sister, right? In this case, Wu Yu would indeed be anxious to death. Zhang Shangyu sneered and said, you think too much. For men in love, it doesn't have to be so complicated. Even if someone wants to kiss Sister Yuking, Wu Yu will be angry and can't bear it. That's the power of love. It's true, can the woman I like kiss someone else? My sister brought Wu Yu to the Biming Empire. It was her fault. She must solve it herself. Just kissing someone else is not enough. It's a contribution, and the entire Biming Empire will forgive her. The key point is that the person we are looking for must also be a young and talented person, and he is the one that my sister was most attracted to before Wu Yu appeared. Prince Yueying nodded. The people who made this decision were all Princess Yukin's brothers and sisters, or brothers-in-law and sisters-in-law. Others didn't say anything after hearing this. Anyway, even if Princess Yukin is unhappy in the future, it has nothing to do with them. After hearing so much, Prince Yu Yang nodded and said, this is the only way. First, bring my sister here and let all of us watch together. Then, let her send a summons to tell Wu Yu that if he doesn't come here to take my sister away, we will let someone kiss my sister once a day. To the elders, this is nothing. To everyone in the Biming Empire, this is a major contribution that my sister has made to save Biming's face, which can make up for the demerit. She wants to come back from the wrong path, and falling in love with someone who is not from the Biming tribe will not have a good result at all. Our Biming Empire is so big, and there are many young talents suitable for her, either this Wu Yu die or get out of our Biming Empire. I agree. This is the only way, and I agree. I can only wrong Princess Yuking. It's not a grievance, she brought it on herself. Everyone agreed in a few words, so there was basically no suspense. Although this method is a bit shameless and sounds a bit playful, it is indeed very effective for couples who are in normal love. The person they love is kissed in public every day, even if it is just one kiss, any man will intolerable. The most important thing now is, who is the person with such good fortune? Do you have anyone to recommend? Prince Yu Yang looked at everyone. When he glanced over, there were a few people who were a little eager to try, but unfortunately they all had Taoist companions. Prince Yuki was the first to speak directly. I would recommend someone. He is the son of the Lord of Lishan Mansion, named Duan Yi. At a young age, he is already at the 9th level of the Yuan Shen formation realm. He possesses a spiritual Taoist weapon and is powerful. He's pretty good, and he's a very good person. Before Wu Yu appeared, he had a good relationship with Sister Yu Chong, and my sister admired him very much. Prince Yu Yang nodded and said, I know this guy, although his background is a little low, but he works very hard. He also gained a lot in the Hell Sea prison this time. He is basically the best one. He will enter the soul state within 10 years. There is no problem with the 10th level of form. His talent is about the same as everyone here. I think he can do it. What do you guys think? This was proposed by these two princes. Even if others had objections, they did not dare to mention it at this time. Therefore, everyone agreed one after another. In this way, this method of capturing Wu Yu was figured out. In that case, it must be Duan Yi. Then I'll ask Duan Yi to come over. Prince Yuki chuckled. In fact, this idea was mainly thought up by Yuan Qingsheng and Zhang Shangyu, but no one else could do anything about it. It really echoes that sentence, why should a woman embarrass a woman? After receiving the summons from Prince Yuki, Duan Yi immediately ran over and Prince Yuki told him the process in person. No matter how calm Duan Yi felt, after hearing so much, he became extremely excited. He couldn't imagine that such a good thing would happen to him, and he was so happy for a moment. This was his biggest wish in recent times, to join the royal family. After this process, Wu Yu should be considered a complete out. With this foundation, Princess Yuqian will most likely become a Taoist partner with him for the sake of face. Then, today's incident will not be a shame for Princess Yuqian, but a way to atone for her sins. Wu Yu's performance made the entire Beiming Empire panic. Okay, I will do it. Duan Yi nodded quickly. You are lucky, and it is said that you have a lot of conflicts with Wu Yu. You are really the most suitable. You are lucky. If it turns out well in the future, you must treat my sister well, otherwise we brothers and sisters will definitely make you pay for it. Prince Yuqian smiled and patted his shoulder. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. I will definitely work hard, I will definitely work hard. Duan Yi was so happy in his heart, but he still wanted to stay calm at this time. He knew what he should do. In fact, it only took courage. He knew that Princess Yuxiang might hate him in a short time, but he didn't care how she would look at him after they became Taoist partners. He just wanted to have the identity of a royal family and control a huge force like the Underworld Sea Legion in the future. For him, that was success. In fact, they gathered together to discuss so many people, and people outside could probably see that Wu Yu's news had reached the ears of these participants. The people of the Beiming Empire finally felt a little relieved. The people of the Yanhuang ancient country looked at each other and sneered. They knew everything about the Beiming clan. If this matter was placed in the Yanhuang ancient country, they would not let the Beiming clan be the first. The face problem is the biggest problem of a Xiaoxian empire. There are certain expectations for the solution of the 800,000 people outside for the more than 20 of them. With a few princes and princesses leading the way, there shouldn't be a big problem. This is also a test for them. Just watch, it's going to be exciting. But while they were discussing, Wu Yu got a lot of dead soul nets. Now he has more than 30 more than the first place. If he continues like this, he will probably be far more than the first place and really take the first place. They must drive Wu Yu out as soon as possible, and then, in terms of total number, everyone must exceed Wu Yu, otherwise even if Wu Yu comes out early, his dead soul net will still be effective. Don't drive Wu Yu out in the end, and he still takes the first place, which is even more ridiculous. There are less than 20 days left, and people are getting more nervous. A big drama is brewing. And the target of everyone, Princess Yuyan, has no idea that she has become the target of her own people. There were so many of them, and they all had Princess Yuyang's communication talisman. With a little deception, Princess Yuyang went to their side. When she appeared at the place where she and Prince Yuyang had agreed, more than 20 participants of the 10th level of Yuan Shen suddenly appeared. They surrounded Princess Yuyang tightly. Seeing this, Princess Yuyang vaguely guessed that they were targeting her. Why targeting her? Just thinking about it, she knew it must be because of Wu Yu. She knew clearly how many dead soul nets Wu Yu had now. However, she still couldn't think of how these people would deal with Wu Yu and how to use her. My dear sister, I finally found you. After so many days of not seeing you, what have you gained? Prince Yuyang asked with a smile first. I didn't want to meet you. As for what I gained, I'm too lazy to tell you. There are so many people surrounding me and causing such a big thing. Are they sending me out? After seeing them, Princess Yuyang was not very panicked. Maybe she was afraid of these brothers and sisters before, but now, her mood has changed a lot. It is difficult for her to be in awe of these people. In the future, they will still be her competitors. Princess Yuyang does not think she is weaker than them. Now she is only a little younger. You made a mistake recently. The brothers and sisters discussed it and decided to give you a chance to atone for your sins, Prince Yuyang said seriously. What mistake? I really don't know. Yuyang smiled helplessly. Gu Hokan interrupted and said, we don't know yet. Because of your mistake, the entire Beiming Empire almost went haywire. Do we need to make it clear? Second update. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 777. Princess Yuking looked at them very puzzled. She thought about it, how could she make these people so anxious? It must be because of Wu Yu's incident. This made her a little disdainful, so she sneered, is it Wu Yu who scared you like this? Everyone must know that now Wu Yu has the number 1 dead soul net, and everyone is anxious because of this matter. Is this the case? The battle for hegemony in the North Ming dynasty is a real war in itself. There must be winners and losers. It is normal for you not to win the first place. After hearing this, everyone was very unhappy, especially her brothers and sisters. This strengthened their determination to play tricks on Princess Yukin to deal with Wu Yu. Sister Yuking, I haven't seen you for a while. Why have you changed so arrogantly? You were not so stupid before. Now because of you, our whole Beiming has been embarrassed, and you still dare to show up here. I'm talking sarcastically here. I think you've been carried away by love. Yuan Qingsheng's voice was gentle, but her words were venomous. Why are you talking so much? She has lost her mind a long time ago. Now she must be cured. In the future, he will be grateful to us for this. After all, we brothers and sisters are the ones who are really good to her. Yume, the princess said angrily. I think so too. Stop talking nonsense to her and do it, Zhang Shangyu said. They usually don't pay much attention to this youngest sister. But now because of her, they have all fallen into very troublesome territory, so they feel resentful. Another point is that Princess Yuking has made rapid progress recently and has made huge progress. She was already known as the most talented among the princes and princesses and posed a certain threat to them. They just took this opportunity to cure her. After saying that, they really didn't talk nonsense. With their current abilities, more than 20 people at the 10th level of the Soul Realm, it was really easy to deal with Princess Yuking. Prince Yu Yang directly tied up Princess Yuking with a spiritual weapon. The name of the spiritual weapon was Netherworld Hell. This Netherworld Hell looked like a long black steel snake, divided into countless sections. Each section is very sharp and thick, with dense array runes on it. Now this Netherworld is directly wrapped around Princess Yuking. Although it is not tightened, as long as it exists, Princess Yuking is actually unable to move. At this time, Princess Yuking was not intimidated by them. She had already passed through the cycle of life and death, and now her realm was different from theirs. They did not expect that under such circumstances, Princess Yuxia could still look at them calmly, and even said with a sarcastic smile, "I didn't expect that you are all young heroes under 100 years old in the Biming Empire. You can't compete with others in this situation. Since you want to use such despicable methods and even use your own sister to threaten outsiders, it is ridiculous and shameful and will make everyone in the world laugh. Therefore, the Biming Empire is ashamed to have people like you. Of course there is no shame in attacking everyone like this." They were already very angry, and now they are even more angry. Zhang Shangyu, for example, felt very uncomfortable and said angrily, "Shameless, if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be so humiliated with such a big face, you still dare to say sarcastic words. Okay, stop talking after all, this is her biological sister. It's pointless to talk about it too much. It's more important to deal with Wu Yu." Prince Yu Yang came to Princess Yu Chong and said seriously, "Whether you can understand it or not, this time is a chance for you to change your ways. Just tell me what you want to do, and don't hide it," Princess Yuking said disdainfully. "Let me tell you," Prince Yuki came forward in person, without any shame on his face, and clearly explained their plan to Princess Yuking. After hearing this, instead of being scared, Princess Yukin actually laughed, as if she had heard something very funny. She couldn't stop laughing, which made everyone very embarrassed. They originally thought that Princess Yukin would laugh after hearing this. Crying and crying. I originally thought it would be ridiculous, but I didn't expect it to be so ridiculous. In my imagination, everyone is a respectable person. I really didn't expect that you would say such a dirty trick. You should be bullied by Wu Yu. There is really no other way, so I'm going to jump over the wall." This humiliation was so cruel, it slapped everyone in the face nakedly. Now everyone was angrier and speechless. If Princess Yu Chong is not afraid, they really don't know what to do, because they still need Princess Yu Kang to send the communication talisman. Yuan Qingsheng said, "Actually, there is no need to tell her so much. She is just being tough now. It's easy to make her submit. Just let Duanyi do it." As she said this, she glanced at Duanyi, who was eager to try. "Leave it to you," Prince Yu Yang said to Duanyi. Yes, after Prince Yu Yang stepped aside, Duanyi came to Princess Yu Yang without hesitation. His eyes were struggling a little, but there was an unyielding will urging him to try this crazy idea. When his heart is firm enough, he can stabilize himself when he looks into Princess Yuking's tough eyes. "Princess, everyone is doing it for your own good. I hope you can understand the good intentions of my brothers and sisters. I am also doing it for your own good. I hope you can understand my true feelings for you. If there is any offense today, it will be done tomorrow." Atonement. After saying that, he stepped forward. "Duanyi, if you really dare to do this today, from today on, killing you will be my biggest goal in life, and you can't even hope that I can be your Taoist partner in the future. You will be my enemy, and I will fight you to the death. One day, I will hang your head on the wall of the Hades to avenge today's shame." Princess Yu Yan said this very seriously, word by word, and every word was like a sharp dagger stabbing into Duanyi's heart. In this case, Duanyi hesitated, because he clearly saw that Princess Yu Yan was not the same as he had imagined before. She became very tough and independent. For him now, this is not good news. Princess Yuyan is too tough, like a hedgehog. If Duan Yi offends her today, he is basically unlikely to become a Taoist partner with him because of today's incident and because of face issues. Instead, he may really do what she said and have a life and death feud with him. This makes him a little embarrassed. Behind him, Prince Yukin leaned close to his ear and said, "Don't be scared by him. A girl can only scare a fool like you. When this matter is over and Wu Yu is no longer involved, she will naturally figure it out. If she can't figure it out, don't you still have us? What are you afraid of?" Duan Yi looked back and saw that everyone was looking at him with encouragement. Today, at least he had gained the trust of so many people. If he had any problems in the future, these people would definitely help him. At this time, the madness in his heart still suppressed his fear of Princess Yukin. He mustered up his courage again, but when he saw Princess Yukin's sharp eyes, he was still frightened. "Fight!" he shouted angrily and was about to speak. Princess Yukin couldn't move at this time. "Okay, I'll let him come." Unexpectedly, at this time, Princess Yukin, who was still very tough just now, suddenly changed. She gave up and decided to use the communication talisman to summon Wu Yu. This was a bit surprising to everyone, as they didn't expect it to be so easy to succeed. It's okay, in fact, as long as Princess Yuxian cooperated, the princes might not give Duan Yi a chance. After all, their sister couldn't be given away for nothing by the son of the mansion owner of a relatively low status. Duan Yi's role was more to force Wu Yu to stay here. The so-called kiss was actually just to scare Yuxian. If Yuxian cooperated, it wouldn't be necessary at all. After all, they couldn't do it too ugly, so as not to be criticized by the elders after they went out. In fact, the reason why Princess Yuxian gave up at this time was because Wu Yu heard his thoughts when he was hunting and knew what he was thinking. The more troublesome things he encountered, the more thoughts he had in his mind, and the clearer Wu Yu's thinking was. So, in fact, she didn't need to say it, Wu Yu was already clear about what was going on here. The formation is so big this time because they know how many dead soul nets I have taken. This shows that I guess I have reached the first place. After knowing that he reached the first place, Wu Yu was in a good mood. However, this group of top-notch people used such a vulgar and boring method, which really made Wu Yu speechless. I thought I was shameless enough, but I didn't expect that there were more shameless than me, this group of hypocritical guys. After hearing this, Nanshan Wanjiao, who was hiding next to him, laughed out loud. "If I were you, I would definitely not tolerate it. No matter whether it is your woman or not, as long as she is interested in you, you must not let others take advantage of you." Nanshan Wanjiao would not understand the complicated relationship between Wu Yu and Princess Yuxiu. However, it is Princess Yuxiu who is being humiliated now. Wu Yu knows that she does not like Duan Yi, and at this time, he really regards Princess Yuxiu as a good friend. Even if she is a friend, Wu Yu cannot sit idly by when she is humiliated. Although Princess Yuxiu does not want Wu Yu to fall into danger because of this matter, Wu Yu cannot ignore her depression. "Let's go over there. Do you want to come with me?" Wu Yu asked Nanshan Wanjiao. "Such a great show, how can I miss it? Your lover is the top one here. I usually avoid them when I see them. Today I can see you showing your power, why not go? If you suddenly die, then all my efforts before will be in vain. Then come up." He directly summoned the somersault cloud and let Nanshan Wanjiao step up. The two quickly headed in the direction of Princess Yuxi. The other party had already sent their location here. "Are you sure you can deal with them?" Nanshan Wanjiao asked. Wu Yu was not sure for the time being, because the most important reason was that Princess Yuxi was trapped in the netherworld hell, in the upper spirit Dao device. Even if there was no threat, it would be difficult for him to break the upper spirit Dao device and take Princess Yuxi away. And as long as Princess Yuxi was in their hands, Wu Yu would not have any initiative. So what was in front of him was a difficult problem, which might be his biggest problem in the Battle of the North Sea. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 778. It's really not easy to get first place smoothly. Although Wu Yu hasn't arrived yet, he almost knows how big the battle is this time. Those princes, princesses, and princes-in-law are all the strongest men under the age of 100 from the northern underworld empire. The top young generals of the 8 legions who can join their camp are all at the 10th level of the Yuan Shen realm, with the exception of Duan Yi. Now we can only block it with soldiers, and cover it with water and soil. The other party may not take action until he arrives, so Wu Yu doesn't need to be in a special hurry. He is also thinking of solutions along the way. They definitely want to force me out of the Hell Sea prison. As long as I can't accept their humiliation of Princess Yuking, they will have a way to really send me out. If you think about it carefully, in this Hell Sea prison, he still has many trump cards that the opponent doesn't know about that he can use. And when using these trump cards, you must hide it from the attention of the 800,000 people outside. First of all, the floating life tower cannot be used. Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. Maybe the only trump card is the body that swallows the sky. Unlike Wu Yu's other clones, the sky-swallowing body always stayed close to the main body. At this time, the sky-swallowing body was not so fast and could only slowly chase Wu Yu in the direction he was going. However, their location itself is not particularly far away from Wu Yu, so it is estimated that the clone will arrive with Wu Yu in a short time. Wu Yu planned to let the clones stay outside first. If they were really needed, they might be a surprise force. Actually, since this woman is a princess, they won't be too messy. A kiss is the craziest thing they can do. After all, there are many people watching outside. If you can accept it, you don't have to pay attention to them. After all, as long as you take the bait in the past, the possibility of being kicked out by them is high. Then it is not worth losing the first place and the prize Biming Emperor. It's just a kiss, tisk tisk. Nanshan Wanjiao has been making sarcastic remarks beside her. Haha, I'm kidding. This is your girl. How can you let other people kiss her? If it were me, I would have to cut off this grandson's mouth and little brother to make him cry without tears. Basically, I can only adapt to circumstances. In fact, people outside can basically see the clues. Apparently, more than 20 of them wanted to use Princess Yuki to deal with Wu Yu, and now Wu Yu was already heading that way. Regarding this matter, the snobbish people outside have different opinions. The people from the Biming clan must feel ashamed, but they have to do it, while the others basically sneer, especially those from the Yanhuang ancient kingdom. People. They couldn't stop it, but they could tell the world about the ugly behavior of the Biming Empire today. So at this time, there were fewer people discussing. Everyone was looking at Wu Yu's Yuan Ying II and the more than 20 Yuan Ying II, silently, waiting for the progress of the situation. Finally, they saw Wu Yu coming alone to the more than 20 people. Although I couldn't hear their words, I could feel the strong smell of gunpowder through Yuan Ying II. At first glance, Wu Yu came here for Princess Yukin, which surprised many people. Even if they looked down on Wu Yu, they had to admire his great courage at this time. And after arriving, it was obvious that Wu Yu was not too awed by so many people. He had quite the top-notch courage. Indeed, seeing so many of them being the top beings of the entire Biming Empire, Wu Yu was not only not in awe, but more angry in his heart. For example, Princess Yuking is a member of the royal family, but now they use such despicable means to deal with Wu Yu, even using spiritual tools to imprison Yuking. This is a shameless performance in itself. Wu Yu, a man, would not be in awe. Even if each of these 20 people is much stronger than him, each one is close to the realm of the 3 disasters. It is possible that they may become immortals in the future, or even become the future emperors of the Biming Empire. Is this the person who pushed us to this point of depression? When they saw Wu Yu, many people didn't quite believe it, because judging from the realm, Wu Yu seemed to have just reached the state of Yuan Shen. Form realm. They felt that Wu Yu must have hidden his realm. Prince Yuyan had met Wu Yu, so when others were still observing Wu Yu, he looked gloomy and said directly, "Since you have the guts to come, we know your relationship with her and that you care about her. Nonsense, I'm too lazy to say it. She also made it clear to you that our purpose is for you to quickly crush the dark light breaking talisman and get out. As long as you get out, this matter will be solved. As for us, of course we won't hurt you. Our dear sister." They knew that it would be difficult to use this threat to kill Wu Yu. The best way was to let him go out with the dark light breaking talisman first. After he went out, as long as Wu Yu didn't become so famous, they would still have many ways to kill him. Wu Yu died in an accident. After all, many of the people under their control were strong men who had reached the realm of the three disasters. That's right. When did you use the dark light breaking talisman? We let her go. If you escape from here, even though we don't want to do it, we have to do it. I'm really sorry for Princess Yuking. Duanyi, right. Gu Hokan looked at Duanyi and smiled. Duanyi was still struggling, but now that his mortal enemy Wu Yu had arrived, he mustered up the courage to make a new decision. He knew that he could not show any weakness from now on, so he boldly said, "I may offend Princess Yu Wei today, but there is no way. I am also doing this for Bei Ming's face. However, if some cowards do not choose to run away, Princess Yu Wei will not be embarrassed by things that make her feel embarrassed, nor will she embarrass me. Although she will definitely forgive me in the future, she will not forgive those who escape today." This chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. After saying so much, they are actually afraid that Wu Yu will leave. Wu Yu, make your decision to leave or stay. If you decide to use the dark light talisman, we can guarantee that no one can touch my sister. Prince Yu Yang looked down at Wu Yu with a cold gaze, while the others were more direct. More than 20 powerful people in the 10th level of the Yuan Shen realm completely surrounded Wu Yu from top to bottom, left to right, and even each of them offered a Taoist weapon, ready to take action at any time. Once Wu Yu had the idea of escaping, they might have to intercept him, although they might not succeed. This group of people even used such despicable means. Seeing their condescending expressions, Wu Yu was very unhappy. He glanced at Princess Yu Yang again. At this time, Princess Yu Yang was looking at him very apologetically. Wu Yu also knew what she was thinking, with endless self-blame and grievance in her eyes. Of course, she didn't want to implicate Wu Yu. In fact, she already hated this group of people, even though many of them were related to her by blood. But sometimes, the royal bloodline doesn't seem to be that important. There are too many examples of brothers killing each other in history. Wu Yu, break the dark light talisman. Seeing Wu Yu's helpless look now, Duanyi felt very happy. He stood beside Princess Yuyan, staring at Wu Yu coldly, and pretended to be ready at any time. I guess he himself could not have thought that one day he would have such an ugly face, but thinking of his dream, even if he saw Princess Yuyan's disgusted eyes again, he persisted. Wu Yu was very unhappy, even angry, or irritable. This shameless method really challenged everyone's bottom line. But he did not lose his mind. At this time, when everyone was waiting for him to take out the dark light talisman, he spread his hands and said, "If that's all, then there's no point. I know what you want. Asking me to leave here is just one of the options. You want to kill me on the spot, but you're just afraid that I'll disappear and you won't be able to catch up. In that case, why not just do it my way? I can promise you that I won't run away, but you have to give me a fair, challengeable, and mutually acceptable opportunity." "So what do you mean?" Prince Yu Yang asked. Wu Yu looked at the weakest person in the other crowd, Duanyi, with a pair of fiery eyes. He said word by word, "I have a life and death feud with this person. Now that you've pushed him to this position, Why don't you be more absolute and let me fight him directly? If I lose, I'll use the dark light talisman. If I win, I'll take Princess Yu Yang away. This is the only way Wu Yu could think of that they might agree to under the current situation. After all, they were just worried that Wu Yu would escape. Now, he promised not to leave Wu Yu's method, but he turned it into a way of fighting to the death. Wu Yu could accept it, and it depended on whether they could accept it. After all, Wu Yu was also giving them a fair chance. Their previous method was too dirty and it would not sound good if it was spread out. You still dare to challenge me? Duanyi seemed to feel that he had heard it wrong, with an incredible look on his face. When he first met Wu Yu, his strength was much stronger than Wu Yu. In the other world, if he was not worried about leaving any handles, he would not need the North Ming Emperor beast at all, and he would probably kill Wu Yu directly. When he was in the underworld Sea Core, he chased Wu Yu several times, but Wu Yu had been using his speed to dodge. It had not been long before Wu Yu took the initiative to propose a fight to the death with him. The princes, princesses, and princes looked at each other. They were also quite surprised by Wu Yu's request. Putting such a heavy burden on Duanyi, they were a little worried for the time being. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 779. Are you sure? Prince Yuyan and his men gathered together and pulled Duanyi over. Everyone looked at Duanyi, waiting for his answer. The strongest enemy Wu Yu has dealt with so far should still be a demon at the 8th level of the Yuanshen realm. Duanyi has a spiritual weapon, and is at the 9th level of the Yuanshen realm. His strength is at least equivalent to several Wu Yes. I think he is fine. Wu Yu is desperate and has no other choice but to do it. Judging from his desperate move, he and our sister really have some emotional entanglement. Prince Yuyan spoke first on behalf of Duanyi. Next, Duanyi said that his mood had indeed changed a lot and he was under great pressure, but he quickly turned this pressure into motivation. Now he was very excited and said, "My dear princes and princesses, my brothers, I can promise you that I will definitely take down Wu Yu, at least force him to use the breaking dark light talisman. If it goes well, I will kill him." He took the initiative to take on this trouble for the princes and princesses. If Wu Yu was killed, if there were some negative news in the future, he could also take it on behalf of the princes and princesses. This was a risk, but his father would definitely think it was right, because it would allow Duanyi to quickly join the group of these princes and princesses and get their respect, and the future would be truly promising. That's great. Duanyi likes Yu Xing, and Wu Yu also likes Princess Yu Xing. If Duanyi kills Wu Yu, then it would be a love killing. It's not that we are afraid that Wu Yu will take our first place, so we killed Wu Yu together. In this way, they can completely clear the relationship, and even if Wu Yu dies, their reputation will not be too bad. After all, this was a killing caused by emotions. As for Duanyi, he was also fighting for the Baiming clan, which was also natural, because the royal family had no precedent of marrying with other clans since ancient times. This was simply a drama of love, hate and vengeance. The only thing to worry about was that Duanyi could not take Wu Yu down. Anyway, as long as Princess Yu Yang was in his hands, Wu Yu could not leave. It was not that they had no confidence in Duanyi, but it was too important for them to take him down. However, because this was the most appropriate way, they made a decision after a period of discussion. Finally, Prince Yu Yang announced to Wu Yu, "Since you have made such a request, we certainly cannot refuse it. Let's make an agreement like this. If you lose, use the breaking nether light talisman to leave here immediately. If you win, you can take her away." Hearing this, Wu Yu had a blank expression on his face, but there was an extremely strong desire to fight in his eyes. "Strange, you know that Duanyi is stronger than you, Why do you dare to challenge? In fact, even Minglong didn't understand at this time. Wu Yu is indeed a little behind Duan Yi. There is no other way. When a challenge comes, I cannot retreat even if I lose. Besides, a very important point is that although Duan Yi is stronger than me and it is difficult for me to defeat him, it is actually difficult for him to defeat me. As long as there is no winner, I will continue to fight him, and that is also fine. In fact, at this time, Wu Yu was a little clever in words. The other party only said to fight, but did not say how long it would take to end the battle. With Wu Yu's level, in fact, as long as he continued to fight, more than 20 days would be no problem. When the North Sea domination battle is over, he will naturally get the first place. And he did not violate the agreement. But in fact, his plan in his heart is that he still wants to challenge Duan Yi with all his strength, and also challenge the limit of his own cultivation. To really delay time, he still has to find out that he has no possibility of winning at all. Or, he is forced into a desperate situation. That's not bad, but I guess if you just delay, they will jump out first. I don't know if their promise will count at that time. Indeed, Wu Yu had to consider whether they were people who kept their word. He stared at everyone and said solemnly, since it has been agreed, no matter who violates the agreement, they must say that I, so and so, am a despicable, shameless, vulgar, and lowly person. What do you think? Wu Yu was really afraid that they would cheat. At this time, they had to make some guarantees. Everyone here loves face. Everyone is watching, and before they want to violate the agreement, they have to think about it. At least he felt that his first place was not something that was unbearable for the Beiming Empire, at least he was fair and square. Hearing Wu Yu's words, they laughed. Among them, Yuan Qingsheng said, "We are indeed barbarians. Our status and position are different from yours. Naturally, our words are binding. We will not take back what we have said." Wu Yu did not believe that they were self-righteous. He asked, "I just want to know, do you dare to make such an agreement?" Prince Yu Yang took over the conversation, "Why not? Stop talking nonsense, Duan Yi, it's your turn to perform. You must not let us down, otherwise, your future may not be smooth." Duan Yi knew that there was pressure, but at this time, he was already extremely fanatical and irritable. He could not wait any longer. At this time, he gritted his teeth and said, "Don't worry, everyone, I will definitely take his head today." After that, he quickly approached Wu Yu, while the others were still up and down, left and right, surrounding Wu Yu and Duan Yi in the middle. Princess Yu Yang was still controlled by her brother. It has been agreed that the battle between the two is imminent. In this scene, Wu Yu came here to rescue himself under great pressure. Facing so many, the top existence still remained calm and brave. This heroic spirit and courage alone are enough to move people. Therefore, Princess Yuxiang was worried at first, but now she basically believes in Wu Yu's ability to create miracles, so now she only has strong expectations, so the smile on her face now is that no one else understands. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Seeing that she was not panicked, Wu Yu also regarded today's difficulty as his final challenge. If he can overcome this difficulty, everything he has will rise to a new height, and he will create miracles in this world of Yanfu. Duan Yi in front of him was also like a wolf and a tiger. He was also a person who was too lazy to talk nonsense. His eyes now said everything about him. When he approached Wu Yu, he had already sacrificed his upper spiritual weapon in his hand. The black spear was waved in his palm. The power and shock were no less than the infinite dragon stick in the world. It is said that the full name of this upper spiritual weapon is Heavenly Dao Shenmi Xian Lance. It is also a very ancient upper spiritual weapon. It has been passed down for a long time. It was obtained by Duan Yi in a ruins. It is also the foundation of his rapid rise. The upper spiritual weapon has a terrifying killing power. Hundreds of thousands of magic arrays, running at the same time, can turn the opponent's life into ashes. There are also quite destructive attack arrays, which can destroy thousands of troops once they are released. Duanyi has the power of the 9th level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm. When he showed his magnificent Purple Mansion Yuanli, he did cause the most fundamental suppression to Wu Yu. In many cases, the Purple Mansion Yuanli is indeed the inner powerful foundation. Mana is the inner strength of a cultivator. Most cultivators do not have such terrifying physical strength as Wu Yu. Even though it caused a huge obstacle to Wu Yu, it did not scare him. When Duanyi was preparing for a life and death battle, Wu Yu was the same. Now that he has just conquered the infinite 10,000 dragon stick in the world, the spiritual weapon in his hand can also burst out the top power, no less than the opponent's heavenly Dao Shenmi Xian gun. The confrontation between the two is a strong collision. On this basis, Wu Yu used all his skills today. The first step was to transform into a golden fairy ape. This was the first step. The next step was to create an extra-legal clone. This time, Wu Yu's extra-legal clone was truly revealed, which shocked the whole audience. It not only shocked more than 20 people here, but also shocked the 800,000 people outside. From the perspective of many people's Yuanning II, they could truly understand how many clones Wu Yu had. 10,000 clones. The 10,000 clones directly squeezed out the 20 or so people who surrounded him. These 20 or so people were too few for Wu Yu. His 10,000 clones instantly surrounded these 20 or so people. What a ghost! Everyone, disperse. At this time, even they couldn't see clearly how many clones Wu Yu had. These people squeezed out and finally squeezed out of the encirclement of Wu Yu's clones. At such a distance, they could hardly see the movement of the battle. Looking forward, they could only see that the whole world seemed to be densely packed with Wu Yu. Duanyi was almost the same, just a black, dazzling light brought by the heavenly Dao Shenmi Xian lance in the deep dark sea water. Duanyi was also messy at this time, because he saw the endless Wu Yu. At this time, he couldn't tell which one was Wu Yu's real body. In fact, the lawless clone is also one of Wu Yu's current, quite terrifying abilities. Oh my god, this magical power is much more powerful than mine. What the hell is this? It's even more terrifying than the inherited magical power of Marshal Tianpeng. After seeing Wu Yu's tens of thousands of clones, even Nanshan Wanjia was completely stunned. He was now surrounded by Wu Yu's clones, and Wu Yu was everywhere. No wonder Wu Yu dared to challenge Duanyi. How could Wu Yu have so many clones? There was an uproar outside. It can be said that most of the 800,000 people stood up from their seats and stared at the Yuanning instrument. Basically, those Yuanning instruments were full of Wu Yu. In other words, they were all full of golden monkeys. Each one was fierce, violent, and full of desire to fight. They all held various Taoist instruments and magic instruments in their hands. In his encirclement, people were looking at Duanyi's Yuanning instrument. It seemed that Duanyi seemed a little pitiful. However, although it was shocking, people still knew that sometimes the scene did not represent combat effectiveness, and Wu Yu's clones were not particularly strong. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 780. At this time, it was to strike first and gain the upper hand. Taking advantage of the moment when Duanyi himself was shocked by Wu Yu's clones, Wu Yu took the initiative. The first one to be performed was the blood weeping world technique. Tens of thousands of clones and his original body simultaneously performed the Taoist magic from the demonic Dao sect. Tens of thousands of golden fairy apes opened their throats at the same time, screaming sharply, and the blood-weeping world technique surged up. All the golden fairy apes aimed at Duanyi, and the sound of the evening sheng sounded at the same time. Among them, Wu Yu's original body was in front of Duanyi, so Duanyi was the first to bear the brunt and suffered the brutal sound Taoist attack of Wu Yu's tens of thousands of clones on the original body. Such a Taoist magic can only be described as a grand occasion. No matter how confident Duanyi was, no matter how strong his purple mansion Yuanli was, and no matter how high his realm was, he was completely submerged in the blood-weeping world at this time. This world composed of blood-colored life instantly engulfed Duanyi. The sound, wave after wave, continuously attacked Duanyi's eardrums and rushed into his sea of consciousness, piercing his soul. Not to mention Duanyi, even the more than 20 top beings of the 10th level of the soul realm around them could only continue to retreat at this time, with shocked faces. They were not the targets of Wu Yu's attack, but were just affected. Wu Yu frightened them with this move. They were originally full of confidence, but now they were more nervous than each other. If something went wrong, it would be troublesome. However, they obviously underestimated Duanyi, a young man who had great ambitions since childhood. He was also very cruel to himself. When he was hit by the blood-crying world technique, he still used new magical powers in the resistance. Possessed by the heavenly war demon, in the transformation of the magical power, Duanyi's whole body, in the impact of the end of the blood cry, completed a transformation. His body suddenly increased in size. In a very short time, he turned into a giant at least 5 meters tall. The giant was all black, and his flesh and blood were covered with thick black scales, even his head was no exception. There was a huge sharp horn on his forehead, which went straight to the sky. His hands and feet all turned into sharp claws, and his eyes turned scarlet. The whole person seemed to be a devil born for fighting. This is the magical power of their Duan family. It is said that the heavenly war demon is a very ancient god of all things, and their Duan family has the blood of a god of all things. At this time, Duanyi used this magical power and turned directly into the heavenly war demon. After the change, whether it was the defense of the flesh and blood, etc., they were suddenly strengthened a lot indistinctly. Duanyi could compete with Wu Yu in flesh and blood, and the heavenly Dao Shenmo Xian gun in his hand also became much bigger. Roar, the opponent let out a thunderous roar, a powerful roar, trying to cover the sharp ape cry of Wu Yu's tens of thousands of golden immortal apes. To be honest, it was the first time that Wu Yu encountered such a big obstacle when performing the blood-weeping world technique, and this time he had the help of tens of thousands of clones. This is a sound confrontation. The sharp and powerful sound impact, of course, Wu Yu's blood-weeping world technique is more powerful, but he wanted to cause greater injuries to the opponent, but it seems that it should be unsuccessful at present. After transforming into the heavenly war demon, the impact on Duanyi's body has been reduced to the minimum. Even though his body is not very sober, at this time, that kind of fierceness still broke out completely. After struggling to resist the impact of Wu Yu's blood-weeping world technique, he waved the heavenly Dao life and death profound spear and rushed into Wu Yu's clones. Started a large-scale killing. The heavenly Dao life and death profound spear, where it pointed, was the dozens of corpses of Wu Yu's clones. Divine Elephant Shocking Prison Technique. When the blood-weeping world technique was no longer really threatening the opponent, Wu Yu directly transformed. In the Divine Elephant Shocking Prison Technique, all the clones gathered the power of Taoism together. Wu Yu was at the core of these clones at this time. He cast the law of heaven and earth to change his power to the maximum. He also turned into a giant. Although he could not compare with the heavenly war demon, he could almost compete with him. Especially with so many clones gathered together, all the clones cast the Divine Elephant Shocking Prison Technique at the same time. All the Taoist instruments and magic instruments plus Wu Yu's upper spiritual Taoist instruments attacked in one direction of Duanyi. For a moment, it was equivalent to tens of thousands of golden divine elephants, born in this vast sea, heavy, powerful, and even gathered together, hitting Duanyi's head. This is the real divine elephant shocking prison. With such an attack force, it shakes the ground. The divine elephant hits the ground, enough to shake the 10,000 hells under the ground. This divine elephant shocking prison technique once again surprised everyone with Wu Yu's ability. At least so far, Wu Yu has exceeded everyone's expectations time and time again, even Nanshan Wanjia was amazed. However, Duanyi is really not a pushover. Although he is humble in front of the princes and princesses, it is only a matter of status. He is not much worse than these people. Heavenly Dao Shenmouxian killing array, after feeling the power of Wu Yu's divine elephant shocking prison technique, his body of the heavenly war demon was fierce and directly triggered the array of the upper spiritual Dao instrument, until countless arrays rolled, surged, and operated on the heavenly Dao Shenmouxian spear in his hand, until it rotated as the core, a huge array, covering Duanyi. This array was strange and complex, full of murderous intent. A rune was like a sharp sword energy, flowing around and whizzing past. It can be clearly seen that the countless shining runes form two huge characters in this array, Heavenly Dao. These two words contain all the mysteries of this upper spiritual Dao instrument. The so-called Heavenly Dao is murderous intent and killing disaster. In the Heavenly Dao life and death mysterious killing formation, Duanyi held the spiritual weapon in his hand, standing still like a mountain, allowing Wu Yu's divine elephant to rush in. In this dark sea of ghosts, a golden and a black Taoist magic collided fiercely here. Wu Yu's tens of thousands of clones fell from the sky and roared like a divine elephant, rushing into the formation. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading. For a moment, the golden and black chaos exploded like the collapse of heaven and earth. The surging waves hollowed out the surrounding area within a radius of dozens of miles and blew it into powder. Such a fierce collision, the level has actually exceeded the 8th level of the Yuanshen realm. For Duanyi, this is relatively normal, but for Wu Yu, people are still unpredictable, so everyone wants to see clearly, is the winner now. Wu Yu's clones were also completely enveloped by the power of the fierce battle and were surrounded. It seems that at least half of them were destroyed. This is basically a relatively large damage to Wu Yu. In fact, people soon saw the result of their confrontation. The battle did not end there. The two immediately launched a more intense confrontation. The remaining clones of Wu Yu were now all scattered, very far away from Duanyi, and his real body was hidden in these clones. For Wu Yu, there is now a problem. This problem is that after the fierce battle just now, he found that it was basically impossible for him to defeat Duanyi through fighting. During the time when he stopped, Duanyi was not idle. He immediately used his second magical power. Hell Demon Shadow. It can be clearly seen that the shadow behind his body of the heavenly war demon will stand up in the sea at this time. This shadow is equivalent to a clone, exactly the same as the heavenly war demon, but it is pitch black and is still essentially just a shadow. Wu Yu can clearly feel the real power, because this shadow quickly hides in the darkness, just like the moon in Nanshan, which adds an invisible murderous intent in the darkness to Wu Yu. He found that it is really difficult to find this shadow unless he uses a new magical power. As soon as the shadow disappeared, Wu Yu felt the murderous intent. Golden Eye Realm. This is not the best place to use the Golden Eye Realm, but Wu Yu has no other choice. He can only use this method to restrain the opponent's Hell Demon Shadow clone. Wu Yu's eyes were extremely hot and burning. The Golden Eye Realm burst out from his eyes, instantly engulfing the surrounding sea area, covering Wu Yu and Duanyi in this surging golden sea of fire. When the sea of fire burned, Wu Yu found the location of his Hell Demon Shadow. However, his clone was very fast and could blend into the darkness. It was hard to figure out. The Golden Eye Realm could hardly affect such a shadow. Even if the Golden Eye Realm existed, the threat of the Hell Demon Shadow still existed. Wu Yu, I know you are just a big shot, with many magical arts and techniques, but they are useless. You are too conceited, so you deceive yourself. In this fight, and all future fights, I will be the winner, so you must face the fate of death today. For me, Sending you out is far from enough. Duan Yu has long wanted to do it once and for all and completely eliminate this enemy. Wu Yu is now a stumbling block to his dream, so he will pay any price to fulfill his dream. It can also let Princess Yu Yi see who is stronger and who will have the last laugh. Duan Yi, at this time, regained the initiative and fought back. Wu Yu was also considering where he should go. Should he choose to evade and delay time now, and hold on until more than 20 days have passed, or fight to the death, challenge the limit, and die rather than surrender? At the beginning, he was determined to delay, but when the battle began, it seemed that everything was out of his control. At this moment, he didn't want to stop at all, and he didn't want to retreat at all when fighting with Duan Yi. Now he just wanted to defeat his opponent and win. When Duan Yi returned, the body of the heavenly war demon showed the ability to control life and death to the extreme, and used overwhelming pressure to suppress Wu Yu. His heart, unwilling to lose and unwilling to escape, became even more turbulent, erupting like a volcano. This is the way, and there is no room for retreat. Wu Yu thought that he had to show up, because one day, he would still need to show up in front of everyone. He is actually Wu Yu himself, the body of his sky-devouring beast.